Everything starts with a selfie from Ji-sung. The caption, infuriating, justice has finally prevailed. Just a souvenir photo taken right outside the courthouse. Usually, if you commit a crime, you go to jail, but to Sung Jun, the image is pure, mocking poison. Justice prevailed. That is what the bastards who believe my sister posted online right after their trial ended. To understand this deep-seated grudge, we have to rewind the clock back to the past. Ji-sung holds up a sandwich stuffed with insects and starts hyping it up. Man, this is packed with protein. But as the victim resists, the guy doesn't hesitate. He orders his goons to hold him down, even without seeing it firsthand. Sung Jun can vividly imagine exactly how they try to justify it all. It is just a harmless prank between friends. Getting close through pranks, right? We cannot let kids with such bright futures rot away in a prison cell during the best years of their entire lives. Seeing his target has no way left to struggle, Ji-sung slowly pries his jaw open and urges him on. Come on, Zechi, open up, swallow it all. His smirking, pathetic face, contrasted with the later court verdict, creates such a cruel, ironic scene because the defendants are currently showing sincere remorse for their actions. The court sentences them to perform 200 hours of community service. Those vile words were actually spoken. No one can fathom the absolute despair Zechi felt when forced to swallow that filth. Sung Jun pounds the punching bag, letting his bitter thoughts drift away. Bright futures, seriously. The best years of their lives. What about my sister? What about Zechi? Just a friendly prank between buddies. Sung Chun's burning hatred practically radiates into the air, making the others in the gym turn pale. Yet, Ji-sung's mocking photo still haunts him, driving him to the edge. Remorse. Sung Jun treats the bag like those bastards, pouring all his rage into each hit, until finally, the innocent punching bag can't take it anymore. It collapses, hitting the floor with a thud. A weird, deep dent left behind by Sung Jun. He has no target left to vent on, so he takes a moment to cool off his boiling head. But what pours out of him isn't just sweat. It is pure, unfiltered vengeance. They would never change, but no matter how much time he kills the gym, Sung Jun just couldn't take it anymore. Too much for one person. He dragged his exhausted body home to a place that felt like a tomb. The second he cracked the door open, he heard Zichi's voice, echoing right in his ear. Welcome home, brother. Sung couldn't tell dream from reality anymore, his pupils shrinking in shock. But when he looked closer, the room was as freezing as ever. His Zichi only existed in the photo sitting on the desk. No greeting, just silence. Sung Jun stared at that radiant smile, burning it into his mind, etching every detail into his nerves. But that only made the trauma of losing his sister hurt even more. Zichi, the girl who always headed to school with such a bright smile. That fated morning, she said goodbye to him just like any other day. But when she finally returned, she was just a cold, lifeless body. Sung Jun stood over her, his heart filled with a burning, bitter rage. The law did nothing for victims like her. Nothing at all. That thought haunted him, sticking to his mind like a curse. Now, he locks his gaze onto the face of Ji-sung. Since the law couldn't punish these killers, Sung Jun decided to act. He suddenly slammed his knife right through the photo. Then, he lowered his hand, his resolve hardening into iron. He carefully studied the list of targets standing before him. He was ready to become justice himself, to carry it out with his own hands. Sung Chun's eyes flickered, burning like fire as he started. This was the first step on his long, dark path of revenge. And among them, his first target was clear as day. His mind had already mapped out every detail of his enemy. The bastard who beat his sister like it was just a daily routine. Hante, yeah, it was him. And Sung Chun's plan was already in motion. And just like that, Hante fell straight into his trap. Sung Jun watched the pig trembling in front of him. He purposefully slowed his pace and lowered his voice to a whisper. Listen up, if you don't answer my questions properly, I'm going to snap every single bone in your body. Think carefully. While Huntae struggled, trying to stammer out a sound, Sung Jun grabbed his first finger and squeezed, "Understand me." But since he didn't get the answer he wanted, that finger had to pay. "I told you to answer me, didn't I?" Sung Jun pressed on, checking every finger one by one. "Answer me, why aren't you talking? Answer the question." No matter how hard he pushed, Huntae only managed pathetic gurgles. "Answer me, you piece of trash." Oh, it seems that pretty little mouth was already sealed shut. But Sung Jun stayed patient, repeating the same demand over and over. "Answer me. I told you to give me an answer right now. Answer the question. I told you to start talking." Didn't you hear him? Sung Jun isn't just raising his voice, he's adding force. The pressure in his grip is mounting. Outside of demands like "Answer me, will you?" or "You won't talk." Just answer quickly. The space is filled with a choking, wheezing sound. Sung Jun acts like he totally forgot the tape is stopping Hunt from speaking. He just keeps shouting right into the guy's ear. "Bark out an answer for me," he demands. Maybe diamonds really are made under pressure, because the pain in his fingers somehow helps Hunt find the strength to stretch his jaw. After a few tireless attempts, he finally manages to force out a sound. It comes out clear, if a bit strained. But as soon as Hunt finds his voice again, he forgets exactly where he is. His mouth starts running, and he lets out a curse. "Damn it, with tape over my mouth, how am I supposed to answer?" And sure enough, after hearing that, Sung Jun moves in to put him in his place. "You think you can talk back to me now? It's ridiculous. You're actually trying to argue with me, you trash. The guy who keeps making excuses to beat up my little sister, even when she did absolutely nothing wrong." He holds up a finger, offering one last, cold warning. "Listen close. This is the last finger you've got left. So you had better start talking and make sure it's the truth." Now that the pain is really setting in, Hunt turns quiet as a mouse. "Wait, please, just stop," he begs. But that pathetic act doesn't save him. It only makes Sung Jun angrier. Have you ever felt even a tiny bit of guilt for what you did to Jichi? Hunt doesn't have a clue what he's thinking, so he just starts blurting things out. "I'm sorry, I know I messed up. Please, just make it stop." But before he can even finish his apology, his face turns pale as a sheet. The moment he feels that finger move, Hunt starts screaming like a stuck pig. "Damn it, I already said I'm sorry. Just stop it." Sung Jun is a man of his word, so he stops for a second. But then he shifts right into a lecture on life lessons. Have you ever heard of karma? It's a Buddhist concept, really. It basically means every evil thing you've ever done will come back to you. It's all going to circle back and hit you, right where it hurts. If you didn't want to end up like this, you should have stopped. Especially when Jichi was there, begging you to let her go. Hunt is numb from the pain now, sobbing and calling out for his mom. That pathetic display just makes Sung Jun let out a long, tired sigh. But he stays patient, committed to this little spiritual lesson. When it comes to karma, I never really believed in gods or spirits before. And honestly, I still don't care much for organized religion. But there is one thing that I absolutely do believe in. He looks out over the glimmering city below, his gaze sharpening. It's been a while, but Sung Jun finally spits out two words, hell. He's not sure his target gets it, so he kindly spells it out. If hell really is real, he's going to make sure they suffer. The tone in his voice gets sharper, nastier with every single word. "You bastards are going to keep suffering, even after you die." Sung Jun figures his opening statement is pretty clear by now. He's done with the talk. It is time for the main event. He turns his focus to Hunt. "I plan on killing the lot of you. But you, Hunt, I'm going to give you one special chance. The goal, total paralysis, while he's busy with his long-term plan." Not much time passes before a familiar car pulls up nearby. The owner steps out, but makes a sloppy mistake, leaves the keys inside. Ra-jun, knowing the drill, rushes over to pull the owner away. Far away, she's just creating an opening for the other two guys. They need to get their hands on this massive payday. To keep the situation locked down, Churong steps in to pick a fight. He keeps the owner distracted, bickering while the others make their move. Siechi Sing creeps up on the car, cool and collected. He's so confident in their little setup, he actually takes his time. He's practically treating this stolen property like it's already his. In a split second, Siechi Sing successfully swipes the car keys. He's got that smug look on his face, pure satisfaction. Back in the present, Sung Jun drags his phone out in front of Hunt. He starts barking orders, call them Jun, Shin, Churong, Kim. Siechi Sing would tell them to get over here right now. But Hunt stays unnaturally quiet, and that starts to boil Sing Chun's blood. You don't want to call them. After a few seconds, Hunt finally stammers. No, that is not it at all. He just can't find the words. He's flashing back to tire tracks sliding across the highway. As the gruesome memory hits him, he finally manages a full sentence. They all died yesterday. They're gone. This news is so explosive, Sung Jun is left completely stunned. What? He snaps his phone open, frantically searching for the latest report. His hands are shaking as he scans the screen. Highway in Ganwando, 3 teenagers are dead. One of them, a student named Kim, was driving a stolen luxury car. He was drunk driving against traffic, a recipe for disaster. The car slammed head-on into a trailer truck coming the other way. Everyone in the group died right there on the spot. It turns out these kids were known for having terrible grades. Even worse, they were the ringleaders of a brutal school bullying case. They had pushed a girl named Hackley to take her own life. Public outrage had been absolutely boiling over ever since that day. Sung Jun drops his phone, one thought screaming in his head. They're really all dead, every single one of them. The phone hits the concrete with a sharp, jarring crack. Even that noise isn't enough to shake him back to his senses. It just pulls Sung Jun deeper into this spiral of self-doubt. What about the revenge he promised his sister? What happens to that? Is killing them really the end? His spirit feels hollowed out, rotting away from the sheer weight of all this buried rage. He stares blankly down at his own hands, still warm from the kill. Sung Jun sighs, voice heavy. It all feels so damn unfair. He can't help but stare at his own distorted reflection, floating in a dirty puddle. He suddenly calls out, Hunt. Hunt snaps to attention instantly. Yes, boss? Sung Jun is still dizzy, clutching his head, but he forces the question. Tell me, do you think those bastards are already in hell? Hunt is quick to agree. Sure, boss. They must be. But inside, Hunt is already plotting his own escape. Something is seriously wrong with this guy. He is acting strange. Really, really strange. Sung Chun's next question only confirms those mounting suspicions. They sent people to their deaths, so they belong in hell, right? Hunt is secretly panicking. This guy has completely lost his mind. I just have to play along until I find an opening to run. He twists his words to match the mood. Of course, boss. They are demons. They are definitely rotting in hell right now. But then, Sung Jun suddenly lunges, grabbing Hunt's face. He whispers, if I kill you two, will I end up there? Hunt's heart nearly stops dead in his chest. He tries to claw at him, but the plea gets stuck in his throat. Twisted and choked, Hunt's body finally goes limp. He slumps right there at Sung Chun's feet. Without a single flicker of hesitation, Sung Jun walks to the ledge, standing on the very edge of the skyscraper, waiting for his turn. While he waits for death, he starts planning for the afterlife. If the heavens are actually watching, he has one last request. His body tilts forward, right into the open air. The wind screams as it cuts straight into his ears. Sung Jun makes his final wish, please, lead me down to hell. The reason, simple. That is the only place I can finish this revenge myself. A dull, heavy thud echoes out, then everything fades. Every sense Sung Jun has just sinks into total darkness. But just as he's drifting, a voice barks in his ear. "Get up, Sung Jun, move it." He snaps his eyes open immediately, even though his body is still pinned flat against the cold ground. Even pinned face down in the dirt, he keeps pushing. As his senses finally sharpen, Sung Jun doesn't even hesitate. He sits bolt upright. Right there in front of him stands a massive gate. It's huge, absolutely towering, and the scale of it is just unreal. Watching this, Sung Jun can't help but wonder what exactly this place is. Dama stays hidden, quiet in the shadows, waiting until the mystery peaks. Only when Sung Jun is about to lose it does he finally speak up. "You should be happy," he says. "Soon enough, you'll get everything you want." Before Sung Jun can press for more, the master of this place steps out. "I am Dama. Some call me the Jade Emperor. Others call me Yama. But most people around here, they know me as the great King Yama." Sung Jun hears that weight of a title and just freezes up, terrified. Once the meaning sinks in, his eyes go wide, like they're popping out. After taking a few deep, shaky breaths, Sung Jun finally lets out a shout. "So this really is the underworld, the real deal." Dama laughs, cutting him off. "Welcome to hell, where the dead reside." Sung Jun is still so stunned he can barely find his own voice. But inside the chaotic mind of his, he's absolutely buzzing with joy. He thinks back to the words Kim Sia-chi-sung posted online. Justice has finally won, he thinks, remembering the court photo. Sung Jun nods, crying, agreeing with the post. Justice really did win. Dama corrects him with a steady, firm tone. "This isn't hell, it's the afterlife." He grins, mocking him, a dead man out for revenge against other dead men. "You really are something else," he sneers. Sung Jun ignores the taunts and growls back. "Where are they?" His eyes are wild, burning with pure rage. "Where is that trash right now?" Dama looks down from above, his voice sounding even more amused. "You're quite the impatient one, aren't you? I really like your spirit." He starts to reveal the location of the people Sung Jun is hunting down. But right in the middle of it, a shaky voice cuts through the air. "Where am I?" Sung Jun turns his head instantly and finds Cho Hun-tae standing there. The moment he's sure, he lunges forward like a blur. "Fancy meeting you again so soon, Cho Hun-tae." The guy is terrified, stammering. But that fist is already coming down hard. Wait, Sung Jun doesn't stop. He grabs the guy's head, pinning him. "I'm so glad to see you down here in hell," he snarls. Dama senses something. The guy is finally giving up the location of his targets. But just as he starts to spill, a shaky voice cuts through the air. "Sung Jun, where am I?" Sung Jun spins around on instinct. Cho Hun-tae is right there. No mistake. Sung Jun lunges forward in a flash. "Fancy meeting you again so soon, Cho Hun-tae." He stammers, but that fist is already crashing down. "Wait, Sung Jun." He uses his other hand to slam the guy's head into the ground. "I am so happy to see you in hell, Cho Hun-tae." The pain stops. Ji stares down at him with a cold, hollow gaze. She knocks him back and calls out for Zaxini. An answer comes instantly. Yes, Sung Jun still has no intention of backing down. He raises his fist again, ready to strike, but before he can, his arm is gone, severed in one clean sweep. He stands there in shock. He stares at his own mangled limb. What just happened? Zaxini stands nearby, her voice chilling as she delivers a warning. "Don't be reckless," she says. "You are standing before the throne." Zaxini stands with her back to him, her hand resting on a massive blade. "Any further trouble will not be tolerated," she warns. She turns her head, looking at him with eyes as cold as ice. Zero mercy for the disobedient. Only then does the sheer agony hit him. Sung Jun gasps, teeth gritted. He clutches his severed arm tightly, his mind reeling from the shock. Internally, he's spiraling. "Damn it, my arm. What the hell just happened here?" Just then, the raspy, slow voice of Zema echoes through the chamber. Spiritly Sung Jun, he steps forward, closing the distance between them. "Listen closely to what I have to say next," Zema speaks with the tone. of someone far above them. I actually quite like you, he continues. But in the end, you are still a sinner who committed murder. You are merely a spirit who will be judged by me and cast into hell. Sung Jun glares at him, face darkened. Just what are you trying to say? Zema slowly reaches out a hand. I am not so idle that I would fulfill the petty desires of a lowly sinner. However, Zema grins, his teeth bared in a sinister, calculated smile. If you become a reaper of the underworld and follow my commands, forgiving your sins and helping you take revenge is nothing at all. He narrows his eyes, the pressure in the room becoming suffocating. Do you want to give up and go to hell, or become a reaper? Zama's expression turns even more twisted. Make your choice now. Spiritedly Sung Jun, facing this relentless pressure, Sung Jun falters. Finally, he speaks up, his voice heavy with bitterness. If you had made that offer before cutting off my arm, it would have been better. Zema replies calmly, everything would have ended normally had you not caused such a scene. Besides, it grows back. What does it matter anyway? Sung Jun hears this and looks down in disbelief. What? Cho Han-tae, who had been beaten to a pulp, also starts to sit up. Zema continues, his voice echoing. This is the underworld. Because you are all entities composed only of souls. Fatal wounds from the mortal realm will heal rapidly here. The guy panics, begging, but it just grows back anyway, right? Sung Jun pauses, looking down in confusion. What? Cho Han-tae, beaten to a pulp, slowly sits up. Dama steps in to explain. This is the underworld. You are all just spirits here now. Fatal wounds from the mortal world heal almost instantly. He pauses for a beat, voice dropping low. Of course, you will still feel every bit of pain from those jagged wounds. Sung Jun stops, his voice turns savage. So, what if I hunt those bastards down and beat them half to death? Over and over, tear them apart, crush their bones. His hand reaches out. I can do that, again and again. Sung Jun grips that hand tight. You mean I can keep making them suffer like that? His face right now is beyond eager. Then I have no reason to say no. Zema looks incredibly pleased by his resolve. Seems you have made your choice. Now let us see if you have the power to reap lost souls. He glances toward Cho Han-tae. Try controlling him. Cho Han-tae screams in pure terror. Wait, why am I suddenly fighting? That bastard already killed me. My head was literally smashed in. Zema flashes right in front of him. Either way, once you hit hell, you will endure far worse agony. Are you more afraid of fighting Lee Sung Jun than the tortures waiting for you down below? He continues, sweetening the deal. I can even grant you a pardon if you win this fight. Zama's eyes flash with a cold, sharp glint. No need to be so scared. The more evil you gathered on earth, the stronger you become in the underworld. You lived like trash, so you must be insanely powerful down here by now. Cho Han-tae starts to waver. If I win, you keep that promise. With that, he finds his nerve and stands up. Sung Jun watches him with eyes filled with pure hate. Cho Han-tae is terrified, but tries to calm himself. It is just one death. I just need to win fast and get out of here. Sung Jun keeps staring. That cold, dead gaze makes Cho Han-tae sick with fear. He finally snaps, gritting his teeth hard. Summoning his courage, he lunges. Stop looking at me. With those eyes, Sung Jun just slides aside, dodging easily. Then a heavy fist connects right with Cho Han-tae's chin. Sung Chun's eyes darken. What do you want me to look at you with love instead? Fast as lightning, he grabs Cho Han-tae's arm, yanking it back, snapping the bone. In a brutal twist, that pain, it hits deep. He finds some courage and swings. Don't look at me like that. Sung Jun just sways out of the way. He follows up with a brutal strike right to the guy's jaw. His eyes flash with a dark, dangerous light. Should I look at you with affection instead? He grabs Cho Han-tae's arm in a blur. With a snap, he twists the arm backward. Cho Han-tae feels the rage rising. damn it, not this again. He's losing his mind, thinking Sung Jun is treating his body like some toy. Cho-huntae growls, his voice ice cold. Just stop it, Sung Jun. Sensing something off, he starts gnashing his teeth in pure fury. Cho-huntae lashes out, his arm suddenly shifting into a watery mass. He sends Sung Jun flying. The poor guy never saw it coming. Sung Jun takes the full impact, slamming hard into the wreckage. But in seconds, he's already pushing himself up from the debris. With his rage fading, Cho-huntae finally looks down at his own arm. He furrows his brow, confused. What on earth is this? Standing to the side, Dama watches and finally speaks up. That is karma. Cho-huntae stares blankly. Karma, you say? Dama calmly explains what he's seeing. Karma is a supernatural energy that wandering spirits in the underworld receive. It ties directly back to their deepest desires or bitter grudges. Dama pauses for a moment, his eyes scanning the strange phenomenon. Since your karma manifested in a liquid state, I see something specific. Looks like you really hate having your joint snapped, don't you? Cho-huntae's head is spinning. I can actually turn my body into water. He can't help but grin, feeling that rush of power. Damn, this is wild. Man, this is seriously incredible. Meanwhile, Sung Jun manages to shake off the debris without a scratch. Cho-huntae isn't trembling anymore. He stands tall and yells out, "Hey, what are you gonna do now? Your little attacks aren't gonna work on me anymore." He clenches his fist with a smirk. This is karma, right? Not sure if it's tied to the rules here, but check this out. My own strength has clearly leveled up quite a bit. Cho-huntae starts mocking him, his tone dripping with fake regret. If I knew this, I would have tortured Zechi way more back then. I would have had more than enough power to crush you right now. But instead of losing his cool like before, Sung Jun just rasps back. You poor, pathetic bastard. You get a tiny bit of power and start gloating. Cho-huntae's face instantly drops at the comment. What did you say? Sung Jun just laughs up at the sky, goading him. If you're so confident, then come at me again. Let's see it. That fat pig line clearly hits a nerve. Cho-huntae's veins are popping. He immediately shifts his arm into that liquid form again. If you want a beating that badly, then I'll happily oblige. Cho-huntae launches his elongated arm straight toward him. Sung Jun swings his hand out, and somehow, he actually blocks it. Cho-huntae turns pale, eyes wide as he stares at the block. He actually stopped it. How is that even possible? He keeps gnashing his teeth. Don't bother worrying about that anymore. Sung Jun sneered. You really think you are stronger just because of that sin? Do you honestly believe that is all it takes, Choen? Tae stared back, panicked. How could you possibly know that? Sung Jun let out a cold, hollow laugh. It is written all over your stupid face. How could I not see it? His voice cut through the heavy silence. Let me ask you one thing, he continued. Why on earth would you think a murderer like me would be weaker than you, Choen? Tae was practically frozen solid, but he quickly snapped out of it. He started pumping his energy, both arms morphing into terrifying, liquid weapons. Tae charged at him like a madman. If I am so weak, then I will just overwhelm you. Try and dodge all of these if you are so confident. Sung Jun watched the incoming tentacles, his eyes flashing with raw, bitter grief. Losing Jichi felt like a massive hole had been ripped straight through his heart. And those bullies, they laughed at her death without a shred of remorse. Sung Jun felt his heart burning, smoldering away into nothing but ash. He did not need anything fancy, he just needed them gone. Moving with unnatural speed, he blurred past every lash and tentacle. He lunged forward. Sung Jun wanted Choen-tae to feel every ounce of his pain. Sung Jun stood still, watching Tae scream as flames erupted from his gut. The fire spread rapidly until nothing remained but a weak, flickering heap of embers. Sung Jun used his bare hand to crush the last of that fire. He hoped the anger inside him would finally start to fade away. But then an unexpected thrill sparked deep within his eyes. Flames erupting from his own skin. Was this his own karmic power? He had heard rumors of this. The most agonizing way to die is by fire. As he gripped his enemy, the flesh scorched away and the body shriveled. They say no other death on earth compares to that kind of suffering. Now, Sung Jun realized he could inflict that very same torture himself. Naturally, the discovery sent a wave of pure, dark joy through him. It was endless. Every time it regenerated, it grew stronger than before. He looked down at his own hand, completely overwhelmed by this surge of power. His energy was burning white-hot when a slow, steady clapping broke the air. Sung Jun jumped, snapping out of his bloodthirsty trance. Dama had stepped out from the shadows, a rare look of excitement on her face. "Outstanding," she whispered. "I never expected you to unleash such hellfire." That strange term left Sung Jun feeling just a little bit unsettled. It's a nightmare. A limb regenerates, only to get broken again. Over and over. An endless, agonizing loop. Sung Jun stares at his own hands, a strange thrill rising in his chest. The power of the karmic flame is burning white-hot. Then a slow, deliberate clapping pulls him out of his madness. Dama has stepped out from the shadows. He looks genuinely excited, finally showing a rare, impressed side. "I never expected you to release that much karmic fire." That strange phrasing catches Sung Jun off guard. Sung Jun stares blankly. "Karma fire? You mean the karma I just used?" Zema doesn't miss a beat, offering a gentle, patient explanation. "No, not exactly. You didn't use karma just now. Karma fire is the netherworld flame that builds your soul. It is the most basic power that every dead person owns. If the dead want to, they can control it. They can even manifest it and use it as a weapon." Zema watches his blank expression and just keeps right on going. When a soul is damaged, it ignites automatically, even without intent. It burns to heal the soul back together. And the more sins you pile up, the stronger that fire grows. The karma fire you just released, that is a level ordinary ghosts could never even imagine. Sung Jun gets serious, cutting through with a short, sharp question. "Then what exactly is my karma?" Zema answers instantly, not even needing to think about it. "I do not know either. But eventually, you will find out when you face those you hunt." That casual tone hits Sung Jun hard. He remembers the devilish grins of those guys. His brain starts calculating, seriously, this time. "Honestly, karma or whatever, it does not even matter to me. I just need to make those bastards suffer. I will use any method, no matter how dirty." As that thought hits, a dark, villainous smirk creeps onto his face. Suddenly, a hairy monster lunges out from right behind him. The heavy, suffocating breath of a yaksha makes his skin crawl. The moment that thing reaches out its hand, Sung Jun panics. He spins around. What the hell is this thing? Before he can even finish the thought, he sees it. A chain from the yaksha's hand is wrapped around Huntae. The guy is lying collapsed on the cold floor. Sung Jun stands there frozen, watching it drag his enemy away. He is shaken, so much that he can barely even breathe. I did not notice anything at all. Is it a demon? What is that giant creature anyway? Zema hears his inner voice and explains it easily. That is a yaksha, a surviving soldier of the netherworld. He stands stunned for a few seconds, mind racing. Then he finally turns back to that supreme Jade Emperor. "Enough," he says. "Looks like I passed your test. Now tell me, where are those bastards hiding?" Zema looks at him for a long moment, then begins to answer. "That is enough. It looks like you passed the test pretty quickly. Now tell me, where are those bastards hiding, Dama?" Dama strokes his beard, clearly flustered before blurting out an answer that means absolutely nothing. "I was planning to tell you this anyway, right when you first arrived here. But truth is, I have no idea where those guys are right now." Sung Jun processes the short, brutal news. He's shaken, voice trembling as he speaks up. "What the hell are you saying, Dama?" Dama can't help but let out a long, weary sigh before he starts explaining the deeper problem. "Normally, when the dead arrive, the Reapers bring them straight to me. But now, not a single Reaper is left in the underworld. I don't even have a clue where those wandering souls are drifting off to. Sung Jun tries to hold back his rage, teeth gritted as he demands to know the truth. So where the hell are those Reapers then? What are they even doing? Dama goes dead silent for a long moment, then clears his throat, dropping the heavy truth. They're all dead. A rebellion once tore through the underworld, and many officials lost their lives. In the chaos, the entire Reaper organization was completely wiped out. Rebuilding that order is essential for the cycle of reincarnation. And that's exactly why I offered you the job. Yama suddenly bursts into a strange laugh, babbling on as if nothing happened. Don't be too disappointed, even if we don't know exactly where they are. We know where they first dropped. Where a soul falls depends entirely on how they died and the sins they committed in life. The greater the sins, the harsher the place of exile. The ones you're hunting are serious criminals who caused the deaths of others. That's it, they definitely fell to the Black Mountain. At that very same moment, on the Black Mountain, a cold wind sweeps past 3 sinners from the mortal realm. Trey Singh is sleeping so soundly he's snoring, but he jolts wide awake as a massive bolt of lightning strikes nearby. Back with Sung Jun, Dama suddenly leans in with a mysterious offer. Come with me, there's something I want to show you. As he speaks, the massive paper door in front of them starts to tremble, almost like it's got an engine inside. It creaks open slowly, just as Dama requested, giving Sung Jun his first look at what's waiting on the other side. A vast space opens up, looking a bit like a celestial realm, but far more mysterious than any human could imagine. Everything slams into his vision at once, and before Sung Jun can even get a single word out, Dama speaks up again, his voice steady and calm. Remember this well? Oh, right, they must have fallen down Black Mountain. Meanwhile, on Black Mountain, a cold wind sweeps right past. 3 outcasts from the mortal realm are hiding out there. Sung is sleeping so soundly he is snoring away, totally oblivious. But he saps awake as a bolt of lightning strikes nearby. Back to Sung Jun, where Dama suddenly makes an offer. Follow me, I have something here I want to show you. As soon as he speaks, that huge paper door in front of them starts shaking in a really strange, mechanical kind of way. It creaks open for Dama, giving Sung Jun his first look. He finally sees the bizarre, hidden world waiting on the other side. It is a massive space that feels like an ancient fairy realm, and it is way more mystical than anything a human could imagine. Before Sung Jun can even get a single word out, Dama speaks up first. You need to remember this clearly. This is the true face of the underworld. The moment he grabbed a sliver of vitality, he opened up a village. Dama didn't even glance at his attitude, just calmly shared that there used to be far more souls living here. Because of that rebellion I mentioned, countless innocent souls were wiped out, leaving this place in absolute ruin. The underworld is where sinners are sent to suffer, but it is also the place that grants rest to spirits. Dama watched the citizens living below, his expression quickly clouding over with a sense of lingering sorrow. He muttered that you can do whatever you want with the ones you catch, but do not forget your true mission. Your duty is to guide lost souls back here safely. Sung Jun naturally understood his good intentions, answering steadily that he understood the assignment. As long as I can get my revenge, use me however you like. That firm resolve quietly cut through Dama's troubles. Dama smiled very well, then Sung Jun. From now on, I appoint you as the temporary Reaper. You seem to be in a rush, so I will grant you the Reapers. Attire without any formal ceremony, Dama declared. As he spoke, his flaming finger poked right at the other man's chest, sparking a surge of fire energy. Summoned by the Jade Emperor, it wrapped around Sung Jun. Sung Jun stared blankly as his casual clothes shifted. Dama saw his stiff expression and chuckled, muttering that it was only a simple change of clothes, nothing more. Sung Jun let out a quick sigh to regain his composure. The aura radiating from him returned to that same dangerous form, making Dama nod in genuine approval. Not bad. You look quite a bit like a Reaper now. Sung Jun ignored the praise, focused only on his goal. So, which way do I go to reach Black Mountain? Dama didn't hesitate, raising his hand to point the way. Just head straight ahead, directly to the north. You can communicate using these jade earrings, so use them whenever you need to relay information. Sung Jun memorized every word and confirmed the plan. Understood. Just keep heading straight. His mind filled with pure, burning hatred. If I keep going this way, I might just run into them again. Sung Jun went quiet. He let the wind hit his face, then suddenly crouched down. He channeled his power, and with a single step, the floor cracked wide open beneath his feet. He launched himself into the air, flying straight ahead. Rising to the heavens, Sung Jun feels a bit disoriented. It's a lot to process. This new power, it's overwhelming. But wait, the moment I see you all again. Every single thing you did to me, you're going to pay for it. I'll make sure you regret it for the rest of your miserable lives. Meanwhile, at Black Peak Mountain, icy chains lassoed against the rock. The dragon, peacefully asleep, suddenly gets slapped awake. And I mean really awake. Hey, wake up, dragon. Come on, get up. He finally regains his senses, shouting out in a panic. What that car? That car ahead of us. Rajun sees his frantic state and speaks up. But he's hesitant, still trying to grasp the reality of their situation. The car isn't the biggest problem here. Chudong is still struggling to take in the new information. What are you saying? Jisung clears his throat, acting all superior and experienced. Exactly. The car isn't the main issue. He listens to the wind whistling past, snorting with a cold, mocking smile. Looks like we're already dead. That bizarre scene in the distance gives Jisung a strange kind of confidence in his grim prediction. His calm demeanor finally snaps Chudong back to reality. Let me get this straight. All of us woke up in this weird place, and our last memory is right before the car crash. You mean we're all actually dead? How is that possible? Rajun, tired of his slow pace, loses his temper. Exactly, you idiot. Repeating it over and over doesn't change a thing. Chudong collapses, hitting the ground in agony. You've got to be kidding me. While his companion spirals into despair, Jisung remains oddly relaxed. He reaches into his jacket, sighs heavily, and lets out a frustrated breath. Damn it, lost my pack of cigarettes. As Rajun starts sobbing, tears streaming down her face. She screams for her mother. Jisung, fed up, jumps down right beside her. He mocks her with a nasty grin. You ran away from home, remember? Why are you crying for your mom now? If this is really the afterlife, maybe there's a way to come back. Look around. Maybe we can find a way out of this. Even now, he's still mocking her. Rajun completely loses it. This is all your fault. You drove like a total moron. Her explosive reaction catches Jisung off guard for a split second. He couldn't care less about her angry glare, though. He just focuses on getting his own frustration out into the open. Why did you steal the car in the first place? Take some responsibility. Finally, Jisung stares straight into her eyes, his voice steady and cold. You helped me steal it, didn't you? Or do you think I did it alone? If that's how you felt, you should have driven it yourself. You didn't do a single useful thing, and yet here you are, nagging me to death. Guess you should have driven yourself then, since you're useless otherwise. Funny how you're all talk, just mouthing off non-stop, you clown. Jung, sensing the vibe is way off, steps in to play peacemaker. Hey Sia Jisung, you are pushing it. We are friends, right? But he gets shut down hard, faced with total vitriol instead. You have zero self-respect, she snaps, eyes cold as ice. Every single time something goes sideways, she pins it on us, while she never lifts a finger to actually fix anything herself. Jung awkwardly shifts his gaze, looking anywhere but at them now. I mean, you have a point, he mutters, clearly struggling to speak. His hesitation half wanting to talk, half holding it all back. leaves Xie Sing genuinely confused for a couple of long seconds before his god-tier deduction skills finally kick into full gear. Xie Sing smirks, humming to himself, sensing something big unfolding here. A split second later, he drops the bomb that hits her hard. You have a thing for Young Jun, don't you? Getting called out like that has Jong stumbling over his own words. What are you even talking about, man? He stammers back. Xie Sing doesn't hold back, delivering a sharp, ice-cold reality check. Get a grip. This is not the time to be distracted. Are we really going to waste time over some girl right now? We need to find a way out of this total mess. That smug tone of his, it is enough to make Jong snap. He winds up and plants a solid punch right on Xie Sing. Xie Sing, totally losing his cool, turns back with a sharp hiss. A silent warning that speaks volumes, but Jong misses the sign entirely. Fuming, he spits out, "Quit acting like you know everything, you fraud." Xie Sing does not say a word, just winds up for payback. But unlike the heavy hit Jong just landed, this one is different. The sheer force of the impact sends his buddy flying backward. Xie Sing freezes mid-motion, his brain struggling to process what just happened. What on earth was that, he thinks, standing there in total shock. Still, he clears the dust, rushing over to check on his friend. "Hey, you still with me? You all right, man?" Seeing Jong's face a total wreck, Xie Sing loses it. "What the hell just happened to you?" he yells out in panic. But then, in a blink, that face starts stitching itself back together. A literal miracle giving Jong a second chance at life here. He sits up, dazed, staring at Xie Sing with pure confusion. Xie Sing goes quiet, absorbing this insane new reality right now. Then, he grins wide, looking like he just hit the jackpot. "So, you really didn't take any damage at all, did you?" Jong struggles to his feet, memories of that nightmare still fresh. "You absolute jerk," he mutters, but Xie Sing just keeps lecturing him. "Anyway, quit acting out, Jong, and just listen to me from now on." Understood, but suddenly, a sight before them stops him dead. "Wait," Xie Sing does not even wait for an answer. "I demand an answer," I snapped, my voice thick with pure annoyance. Didn't even notice something was dead wrong right behind my back. "I told you to answer me," I barked, but then Rajun lost it. Terror took over. He let out a blood-curdling scream, "Look behind you." Confused, he glanced up only to see a gruesome beast inches away. Yet, instead of fear, Xie Sing was stoked, muttering to himself, "What kind of freakish thing are you supposed to be, anyway?" The monster didn't hesitate, slamming its massive hand into the ground. A shockwave erupted, sending dust and debris flying across the mountainside. Xie Sing got pinned down instantly beneath the creature's heavy foot. It snapped down hard, tearing right through his outstretched arm. Agony flooded his entire body, his voice shaking with the pain. "You damn monster," he wheezed, fighting through the sheer torment. Then, in a wild move, he bit deep into the beast's leg. "Think you're the only one who knows how to bite? How?" He tore into it like a rabid dog, inflicting a brutal wound. A smear of blood hit his lips, sliding right into his mouth. The very second that blood touched him, his body started changing. It was bizarre. He stood there, feeling his own cells shifting. He watched in silence as his own wounds started knitting themselves back together. Still healing, he mocked the beast, calling it nothing but trash. Xie Sing clenched his fist, preparing for a devastating counterattack. "You're done for," he growled, ready to crush that ugly monster. The creature lunged, jaw wide open, desperate to finish him off. Xie Sing spotted the weak point, the smirk playing on his lips. He unleashed a massive uppercut, slamming right into the beast's chin. Rajun sat nearby, scrambling to dodge as the giant body tipped over. He was screaming his lungs out, diving clear of the massive carcass. Rajun scrambled back, but when he looked up, he went pale. "Your face!" he shrieked in total panic, pointing right at Xie Sing. Xie Sing was clueless, just as confused as his panicked friend. My face? What about my face? He asked, totally oblivious. He hadn't realized how badly he was changed until just now. Finally, he caught his own reflection in a pool of blood nearby. Just then, the beast shook off the blow, eyes burning with rage. It bared its jagged teeth, snarling as it prepared for more. Every move it made just made Chi-Sung laugh in its face. Bring it on, he goaded, mocking the beast with a grin. That push was all it took. The creature charged him head-on. It clamped its jaws onto his arm again, thrashing him around. Chi-Sung fought to hold back the scream tearing through his cells. She lets out a sharp laugh, tossing a taunt his way. That easy trigger makes the beast lunge forward instantly, jaws snapping shut. It locks onto Chi-Sung's arm, thrashing him around without a second's rest. He grits his teeth, fighting that agony tearing through every single cell. He funnels every bit of his energy straight into his hand. The spirit essence gathers, humming, as Chi-Sung growls in frustration. Die already, he spits, slamming a strike into the beast. That hit is surgical, breaking the monster's grip on his arm. With a sickening crack, he sends that thing straight to hell. But before the trio can even celebrate, the ground begins to warp. Dry earth cracks wide open beneath their feet without warning. The beast's carcass explodes, tremors echoing with a deafening roar. Everything shakes violently, and within mere seconds, disaster strikes. Churong and Garan panic, plummeting into the gaping abyss below. The world shatters into pieces around them, swallowing them whole. Who knows how much time passes before Churong slowly wakes up? A rhythmic, grinding noise fills the ear, leaving him confused. What is that sound? He whispers, trying to get his bearings. Near a dark corner, Chi-Sung is tearing through the beast like a savage. Churong leans against a cold stone, following the noise with effort. He creeps toward Chi-Sung, movement sluggish and unsteady. The sight waiting for him makes his face go deathly pale. His old friend, this person he grew up with, looks changed. He's not human anymore, something monstrous, warped beyond recognition. Oh, you guys are awake, Chi-Sung says, sounding eerily detached. Want some, he asks, holding out a piece of the kill. The more I eat of this, the stronger I feel, he mutters. He slams his feet into the ground and lunges forward instantly. A massive cloud of dust kicks up the moment he lands. Sung Jun just sighs, his gaze calm as he stares ahead. He looks toward the jagged mountains looming in the distance. Is that Black Mountain? He wonders, finally nearing his destination. Dama nods slowly, her expression turning grim as she speaks. This is the Bone Forest, and the Agui monsters roam here. Watch your step, she warns, the danger level rising sharply. He scans the horizon, his eyes narrowed in deep focus. Sung Jun mutters the name under his breath, Agui. Dama keeps her voice steady, explaining what they really are. They feast on the souls of the dead, she says coldly. He freezes in his tracks, the weight of her words sinking in. Nearby, Dang Hon and the others are laughing with cruel malice. Chi-Ho is trembling, begging them to stop this madness. Stop doing this, she pleads, eyes wide with genuine fear. Trok-dun just scowls, his face twisted in pure irritation. Damn it, stay still, he snaps, ready to lash out. Seeing him raise a hand, she lets out a sharp cry. Sung Jun watches it all from the shadows, eyes locked on them. Trok-dun whips his head around, his voice dripping with venom. Who the hell are you? He demands, as Sung Jun stares back. Bullying the others, he jerks his chin toward him and calls out coldly. Hey you, he sneers, his voice dripping with total contempt. Just as he moves to pass, he's sent flying across the room. Watching that, the other to cry out in pure, shocked alarm. Sung Jun quickly grabs Chi-Ho by the hand, yanking her back. She freezes for a second, her cheeks flushing bright red. Chi-Ho steals a glance at him and whispers a grateful thank you. Sung Jun responds flatly, his voice showing absolutely no emotion at all. You are in my way. Get lost, he says coldly. Immediately, he wraps a rope tied around Chi-ho's body. Sung Jun swings his arm and tosses her straight across the room. Before long, Chi-ho is left dangling helplessly from a tree branch. Ho grinds her teeth in rage and screams out, "You bastard!" Without a word, he tenses his muscles and clenches his fist. A powerful blow lands square on his face. Sung Jun stays calm. He uncoils the rope from his arm and gives it a snap. The rope snakes out and binds Hone tight in its grip. Sung Jun heaves him into the air, sending him flying away. Hone slams hard into the gang standing on the other side. He doesn't stop there. He charges forward again at full speed. Across the way, Chak-jan struggles as he tries to stand. He sees Sung Jun charging and panic washes over his face. Sung Jun drops low, his stance ready for the next strike. His eyes lock onto Chak-jan's critical weak spot. Putting all his weight behind it, he lands a brutal kick. Sung Jun snaps his hand out and grabs Chak-jan by the throat. He holds him firm and coldly declares, "I am Lee Sung Jun, a reaper sent here by the order of the great King Yama. Surrender now and I will spare you from further violence. But resist me, and you will suffer much worse than this. Think about it before I drag you off to your end." Held tight and unable to fight back, he begs for mercy. "Wait, let me go first, and then we can talk about this. I don't know what is going on, but it is all my fault." Seeing he won't let go, Chak-jan panics and keeps rambling. "I already told you it was my fault, so just let me go." He grinds his teeth, his eyes turning vicious with sudden malice. He can't take it anymore. Chak-jan lunges with a hidden blade. "I told you to let me go, you absolute piece of trash." Struck by surprise, Sung Jun grits his teeth against the agony. He feels the sharp steel sink into his body and staggers back. A knife, looking at his expression, the guy sneers in triumph. "Does that hurt?" Chak-jan slowly twists the handle in his grip. "Probably because back when I was alive, I died by this blade." His face twists into a crooked, truly sick and broken smile. Intense pain, but somehow he manages to manifest a blade right here. Even with agony tearing through him, Sung Jun stays remarkably composed. He thinks to himself, so this is how it feels to be stabbed. Rather than flinching, he quietly embraces the pain. It is actually a useful lesson, he decides, his eyes turning cold. Calm, steady, now he can finally get used to this level of suffering. Watching his unnerving lack of reaction, Chak-jan swallows hard. He turns to his gang, shouting for them to wake up and act. "Why are you idiots just standing there staring like that?" Chak-jan tries to steady his nerves, barking out orders. "We only slipped up for a second. It is 4 against 1. He lowers his stance, surging power into his legs to prepare. His eyes lock onto Sung Jun, burning with desperate intent. "If we hit him all at once, we win," he tells them. He points forward, shouting for everyone to launch the attack. Faced with their charge, Sung Jun just stands there, perfectly still. Seeing them rush in, Sung Jun speaks with icy detachment. "So you have finally decided to fight back, have you?" Honestly, the corner of his mouth twitches into a faint, dark smile. "I was actually hoping things would play out exactly like this." From a distance, the scene looks quiet, almost deceptively normal. No one could guess how fleeting that stillness actually is. As the mist begins to clear, Sung Chun's silhouette slowly emerges. Chak-jan is curled up on the ground, face twisted in agony. Looking down at the defeated group, Sung Jun remains eerily calm. "Now," he says, slowly rolling his wrist as he stares them down. "Shall we keep going?" After suppressing all the spirits, he confirms to himself that he has caught the dead souls. But now a new, annoying problem starts to weigh on his mind. Do I really have to drag every single one to the underworld? Hearing this, Icarus speaks up to clear things up for him. "It does not have to be that complicated," he explains simply. "I will just issue a recall order for the Yaksha army." Sung Jun suddenly spins around toward a strange noise. Wait, what was that sound? A sudden movement behind him. Noticing the disturbance, the guy's face turns ghostly pale. That is impossible. How did that monster track us here? Sung Jun narrows his eyes, curious at Chakjan's sudden panic. A monster emerges from the deep shadows of the distant woods. Something is approaching, a horrifying aura spreading through the air. The first thing that comes into view is rows of jagged teeth. Seeing the nightmare, Chakjan screams in absolute terror. It is here. That thing has finally arrived to hunt us. Even Sung Jun looks shaken, his voice dropping in genuine fear. That monster from above, it has finally found them. Right after that, a long arm with sharp, jagged claws reaches out. Seeing its true form, Dama drops his voice, a grave warning. We just ran into it. His gaze turns stone cold, focused. Careful now. Once a soul is swallowed by a hungry ghost, there's no coming back from that. Dama pauses for a beat. He stresses every single word. You absolutely cannot get eaten. Hearing that explanation, he just asks one question. Totally calm. Hey, this hungry ghost thing, it's not an endangered species or something protected, is it, Dama? Shakes his head immediately. Not a chance. The world would be a much better place without them, especially on Black Mountain. You're going to run into plenty more of these, believe me. Hearing that, the corner of Sung Ran's mouth twitches up. Oh, perfect. A rare look of pure interest flashes in his eyes. Since I'm going to have to fight so many of these anyway. He stares right at the thing in front of him, grinning. A smile full of absolute excitement.